Is this the end? When wars break out, when nations rise and fall, when disasters shake entire regions, the question always returns. And for many people, the Bible seems to have something to say about it. But what exactly? For some, the Bible's end times passages are terrifying. For others, they're confusing, filled with beasts, trumpets, earthquakes, judgment, and strange symbols that seem impossible to understand. Yet what if we've been approaching these passages from the wrong direction? What if the story the Bible is telling is not primarily about predicting dates, but about revealing where history is ultimately heading? To find out, we need to travel back nearly 2,000 years, back to a city under Roman occupation, back to a conversation that would shape Christian understanding of the future forever. Because the story begins not at the end of the world, but on a hillside overlooking Jerusalem. The city is crowded. Pilgrims have arrived from across the region. Merchants fill the streets. Roman soldiers watch from their towers. And above everything else stands the temple. Its white stone walls shine in the afternoon sun. For the Jewish people, this is more than architecture. It is the center of worship, the symbol of God's presence, the heart of their identity. To many, it feels permanent, unshakable. Then Jesus says something astonishing. Not one stone here will be left upon another. The disciples are stunned. Later, when they reach the Mount of Olives, they ask him privately, "When will these things happen?" It's a simple question, but the answer becomes one of the most debated teachings in human history. And surprisingly, Jesus does not begin with a date. He begins with a warning. Do not be alarmed. The disciples expect specifics, a timeline, a schedule. Instead, Jesus talks about wars, rumors of wars, famines, earthquakes, political upheaval. At first glance, it sounds exactly like what many people point to today. But then Jesus says something remarkable. These things must happen, but the end is not yet. That statement changes everything, because Jesus is not describing unusual events. He's describing realities that have always existed in human history. Then Jesus introduces an image that transforms the entire conversation. Birth pains, not death. Birth, painful, difficult, but moving towards something, a process, a transition. The story is not ending. Something is being born. To answer that question, we need to understand something many modern readers miss. The Bible was not written in the 21st century. Its prophets spoke a different language, not Greek or Hebrew alone, but the language of symbols. When ancient prophets described kingdoms collapsing, they often spoke of stars falling. When empires rose and fell, they described cosmic disturbances. When divine judgment arrived, they spoke of clouds, fire, and earthquakes. To modern ears, it sounds literal. To ancient audiences, it communicated something deeper. A world order was changing. One age was giving way to another. This style of writing became known as apocalyptic literature. And without understanding it, much of the Bible's end times imagery becomes impossible to interpret correctly. As instability increases, something changes, not only in nations, in hearts. Jesus says that many will be deceived, and that because of increasing lawlessness, the love of many will grow cold. It's one of the most psychologically insightful observations in Scripture. Fear changes people. Uncertainty changes people. Long periods of crisis change people. Trust erodes, communities fracture, people become guarded. The danger isn't only external, it's internal, and history repeatedly confirms this pattern. The question is no longer whether difficult times will come. The question becomes, how do people endure them? Jesus answers with a single idea: faithfulness. Not prediction, not secret knowledge, faithfulness. For centuries, Christians have debated these words. Did Jesus mean the destruction of Jerusalem? A future global crisis? Or both? History offers one remarkable clue. 40 years after Jesus spoke these words, Jerusalem was devastated by Roman armies. The temple was destroyed, exactly as Jesus had warned. For many scholars, this event fulfills much of what Jesus described. Yet others believe the language points beyond that moment, toward future events still waiting to unfold. Despite disagreements, nearly everyone agrees on one thing. The passage describes humanity facing intense testing. Moments when everything people trust appears fragile. Moments that reveal what truly remains when comfort disappears. Long before Jesus, long before Rome, the prophet Daniel recorded visions of empires rising and falling. In one vision, something sacred is violated. Worship is disrupted. Chaos enters where holiness once stood. For Jewish readers, this memory pointed to a historical event. But over time, it became more than history. It became a pattern, a warning, a reminder that corruption can invade even sacred spaces. And Jesus draws upon this image because he wants his listeners to recognize the pattern when it appears again. Yet even after describing turmoil, Jesus refuses to end the story there. Because darkness is not the final chapter. Revelation is. Then Jesus speaks about the Son of Man coming on the clouds. To modern readers, this often sounds like movement through the sky. But his audience immediately recognized the reference. It came from Daniel. A vision of authority, kingship, vindication. The moment when God's rule becomes unmistakably clear. Interpretations differ. Some see fulfillment in historical events. Others see a future return. But both views converge on a central truth. History is moving toward revelation, a moment when what is hidden becomes visible, when truth can no longer be denied. Across the New Testament, a consistent theme emerges: judgment. For many people, the word creates fear, but the biblical picture is more profound. Judgment means accountability. It means actions matter, choices matter, truth matters. The imagery is striking. Books are opened. Nothing hidden remains hidden. Nothing forgotten remains forgotten. Justice, delayed for generations, finally arrives. The Bible's vision is not of arbitrary punishment. It is of ultimate moral clarity. And after that clarity comes something unexpected. Not destruction, renewal. The final pages of Scripture contain one of the most beautiful images ever written: a new heaven, a new earth. Not an escape from creation, a restoration of it. The biblical story begins in a garden, and remarkably, it ends with a restored creation where God dwells among his people. There is no more mourning, no more death, no more crying, no more pain. And then comes a promise that has comforted countless people across centuries. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. Every loss, every injustice, every heartbreak, not ignored, not forgotten, healed, restored, made new. After all the symbols, all the debates, all the prophecies, a surprising picture emerges. The Bible's end-time story is not ultimately about fear. It is not primarily about charts, dates, or speculation. It is about direction, the claim that history is going somewhere, that suffering is not meaningless, that evil does not have the final word, and that restoration, not destruction, stands at the end of the story. Different Christians disagree on details. They debate timelines, interpret symbols differently. But beneath those differences lies a shared conviction. History is not random. Hope is not an illusion. And the final chapter has not yet been written. The question, then, is not simply when these things will happen. The deeper question is how we choose to live while the story is still unfolding. Because according to the Bible, the end is not merely an ending. It is the beginning of something new.